Hello everyone, today we will be introducing the Enlightenment thinker Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau was one of the most influential philosophers of the 18th century, deeply impacting modern political theory, education, and sociology. His works, The Social Contract and Emile, laid the foundation for ideas of freedom, equality, and natural education. His famous statement, "Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains," reflects his profound thoughts on social oppression and the inherent goodness of human nature.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau, born on June 28, 1712, in Geneva, Switzerland, was one of the most enigmatic and influential thinkers of the Enlightenment. His life was marked by a series of dramatic twists and turns, just as turbulent and passionate as the ideas he would later advocate. Rousseau's mother died shortly after his birth, and he was raised by his father, a watchmaker who introduced him to literature and music. Despite this early exposure to learning, Rousseau's formal education was erratic, and he was largely self-taught. At 16, feeling stifled by his strict upbringing, Rousseau ran away from Geneva. This was the beginning of a wandering life that would take him across Europe, working various jobs as a servant, tutor, and secretary. It was during these wandering years that Rousseau began to develop his ideas about society and human nature. He believed that people were born good and were corrupted by society. This belief would become the foundation of his later works and his most famous idea, "Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains." This powerful statement, from his The Social Contract, encapsulated his belief that society, with its oppressive structures and artificial inequalities, limits human freedom and potential. Rousseau's fortunes changed dramatically in 1749 when he entered an essay competition held by the Academy of Dijon. The question was, has the restoration of the sciences and arts contributed to the purification of morals? Rousseau's answer, a resounding no, argued that progress in the arts and sciences had led to moral decay. His essay, Discourse on the Sciences and Arts, won first prize and made him an overnight sensation in the intellectual circles of Paris. This success marked the beginning of Rousseau's career as a philosopher and writer. He followed up with another controversial essay, Discourse on the Origin and Basis of Inequality Among Men, where he argued that the establishment of private property was the root cause of social inequality and the loss of human freedom. He proposed that people were happiest in a state of nature, where they lived freely and simply, uncorrupted by society. Rousseau's romantic vision of the noble savage contrasted sharply with the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and progress. Rousseau's radical ideas made him many enemies, but they also garnered him passionate followers. His thoughts on education, laid out in Emile, or on education, revolutionized how people viewed the upbringing of children. Rousseau argued that education should nurture the natural goodness of children rather than impose rigid rules and social expectations. He famously stated, "We are born weak, we need strength, we are born totally unprovided, we need aid, we are born stupid, we need judgment. All that we lack at birth, all that we need when we come to man's estate, is the gift of education." His ideas influenced educational theory and practice, laying the groundwork for child-centered education. Rousseau's most enduring political work is The Social Contract, where he introduces the concept of the general will. He argued that true freedom could only be achieved when individuals acted in accordance with the general will, which represents the collective good of the people. He believed that sovereignty should lie with the people, not with monarchs, and that government should be based on a social contract freely entered into by all citizens. His declaration, "The general will is always right," underscores his belief in the collective power of the people to determine their destiny. Rousseau's personal life was as tumultuous as his philosophical journey. His passionate nature led to numerous conflicts and controversies. He had a complicated relationship with his contemporaries, including Voltaire and Diderot, and eventually found himself ostracized from the very intellectual circles that had once celebrated him. He also faced exile and persecution for his controversial views on religion and politics, which were seen as a threat to the established order. In the latter part of his life, Rousseau sought solace in nature, retreating to the countryside to escape the turmoil of public life. It was during these years that he wrote his Confessions, a candid autobiography that laid bare his inner struggles and contradictions. His introspective writings revealed a man deeply sensitive to the world around him, yet often at odds with it. Rousseau died on July 2, 1778, but his ideas lived on. His belief in the natural goodness of humanity, the importance of education, and the sovereignty of the people profoundly influenced the French Revolution and modern democratic thought. His works continue to inspire debates on freedom, equality, and the nature of society. Rousseau's story is that of a man who sought to reconcile the complexities of human nature with the demands of society. His legacy is one of both inspiration and controversy, as he dared to challenge the conventional wisdom of his time and envisioned a world where people could live freely and authentically.